if you got him.
Oh, yeah, we got him, baby. We got him, baby. Welcome to the Can Fan, Cowboys Can Fan, Sunday service, Father's Day edition.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
All you gray-haired, saggy, bald bastards out there, and we got one of them with us.
You don't know that my balls are saggy.
Well, get that in you. Crack me if you got it. It's hard earned. That's a earned one on Father's Day for Bandwagon Boy 1 over there. How's it feel to be a father on Father's Day? Is it as great as everyone imagines?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like that this is more important than your family. Well, I appreciate that.
The family, a Father's Day, it's like, well, what do you want to do on Father's Day? I said, I want a podcast.
Adam did when he came to me. He said, "You get back upstairs."
I got one of these from one of my kids. They made. You can't really see it, but it's a Dallas Cowboys.
What are those called when they have the enlarged words, like certain words?
Word art.
A word art.
Word art.
So he made this word art thing.
Is that Wordle?
He's 10, so he's
awesome.
just learning how to use a computer. And
he's so hot right now.
Can you say that, or is that too?
He's a hot artist. He's hot. He's a hot artist.
It's flying off the shelves.
And then he made a custom one-of-one.
Wow.
Dallas Cowboys.
And it's banana board style.
Well, yeah, he went the
can't
old school
wait to steal that from you and put it on eBay.
And but he made it so he takes paper, and then he glues it, and then he squishes it together like in multiple layers.
Why aren't we trying to sell these on the CowboysCanFan.com?
Yeah,
exclusive
one-of-one
banana boards.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty that stuff like that's pretty sweet when you get it for.
Well, yeah, you know what? AJ and I got each other gifts. So
yeah,
Beaches.
We blew each other behind the house before we came in.
It was bristly. It was a bris. I'm growing as much of a little stub that I can grow too, so it was a bristly
boner.
So we went from Adam's Father Day's gift to me and AJ performing Filet Show. It is Sunday service. We talk about it all, and we have some Cowboys articles.
Well, this one is not some good news here for Cowboys Nation.
Cowboys legend.
Cowboys legend and a football legend, right? Deion.
So he's been struggling a little bit with
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, Deion Sanders had been struggling a little bit with blood clots in his foot. And I guess this article's saying that Deion Sanders might have to get his foot amputated.
Oof.
I almost feel like this is he almost sold his soul 30 years ago to be one of the best in the world, and now he's getting it. Now he's getting it taken away from him.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope that's not the case, but at least it's not during his prospering career. Not to say that, of course, you want this to happen at any point in anyone's life.
What? How did it? Was it like from a
blood clot
surgery and just injuries throughout playing, and then he just had to get a bunch of surgeries? But now they're saying Sanders, the new football coach.
Sorry. Where did I?
Sanders, the new football coach of the University of Colorado Buffaloes, has been dealing with issues with his foot. He has already undergone surgical procedures that include having to have his big toe and his second toe amputated because of blood clots that run down his leg from the top of his calf to his foot. So they've already amputated on his couple of his toes. And he basically said, you just have to understand what the risks are, that's the surgeon, and things can cascade. So they're at the point where taking the big toe and the other toe have not prevented this, and they might have to take the whole foot off.
Yes.
That's scary, man. That's shitty. Like you said, you don't ever want to see that for anyone. Obviously, Sanders is having a great second career as a football coach. We could even say third career because he was a very good NFL analyst for a while, and then obviously a top 10, if not top 5 NFL player. So it's just sad to see, but I'm a guy like that. I imagine his mindset and his morale and attitude, he'll overcome anything that goes his way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, like you said, it's out. He's not losing. It's not going to impede any type of career that he has right now.
No, especially
it still sucks.
It sucks. Yeah, no one wants to lose their foot, but they'll get him some magic legs, for Lieutenant Dan, and he'll be on with it.
That's Lieutenant Dan.
He might even be faster than he was before.
Oh shit.
Okay, well,
not directly Cowboys news, but it is. He's a Cowboys great. So and it's NFL news because you like to hear about this stuff in the off season.
Well, let's get something a little bit more kind of upbeat here. Look at this fucking trio. Hey,
Hide your wives.
These three dudes walking into the pub.
So if anyone that's just listening, we're looking at a picture of Stephen Jones leading the bunch, Mike McCarthy with a Cowboys cup in his hand, and then Jerry Jones creeping up the rear. They're all walking like they're coming to steal your bitches.
Yeah, Jerry looks like he's ready to put some bets on a real fast horse. And Mike McCarthy's definitely drinking some Kool-Aid mixed with vodka.
Or codeine. Mike's into the codeine mix.
It's like two older friends that they have to just drag along their dad for Father's Day drinks to go watch the game.
McCarthy looks pretty good in this picture.
McCarthy looks better than Stephen Jones.
He does look better than Stephen Jones.
Yeah, Stephen is Stephen needs to wear a jacket more often than not, because when he has one off, he does not hide.
Wait a second, that's not Stephen Jones. That's Bat Son.
Bat Son. Oh my gosh.
What's his name? Why can't I think of his guy's name?
Stephen Jones. Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Well,
Yeah, from the new Flash movie.
Well, Bat Son. Who do we call him Bat Son for a reason?
I know.
I was expecting one of you guys to know the name of the actor.
I just said it. Michael Keaton.
I think Alex said it.
No, Alex didn't say it.
So what was this article? What was the title of this article? And it was by SB Nation. And who wrote that?
Yeah, this is by LP Cruz. I don't know if we've ever brought up one of this dude's or dudette's article, but
He always says hop on the cruise before he writes
Yeah.
an article.
hey, it's time to hop on the cruise train.
The cruise train. Super-
Does the title and the image foreshadow like the new? They're doing something a little different this year, and Stephen Jones is leading the pack. Is that what this is about?
I don't know.
Ooh,
Let's
foreshadow.
Let's have a look. The Cowboys' willingness to be more aggressive in acquiring talent may take an upswing with an addition to their analytics department. What the fuck does that mean? That everyone's asking.
It says first Dallas traded for cornerback Stephon Gilmore to bolster the secondary. Then the team acquired Brandon Cooks to improve the passing game. But the Cowboys have also made personnel moves such as hiring analytical mind John Park from the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to butcher this. Mal Powell.
I like it.
Had an active role with the Baltimore Ravens, an organization that is considered to be one of the best run franchises in the NFL. Her data and opinions mattered in the NFL discussions, among other areas.
Mally Pally sounds better than Mal Pal.
Mally Pally?
Mally Pally. Mally Pal.
All I see is like parallel is what I'm thinking when I see all those L's in a name or in a word. The Ravens consulted Mally Pally in the lead up to the 2021 NFL draft. That draft saw Baltimore add wideouts Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace. General manager Eric DaCosta referenced the analytics that came from Malapal. So what is she? She's a guru. She's like a run guru.
And now she's over here with the Cowboys?
Now she's mucking it up with the Cowboys?
She's, dare I say, she's the dude from Moneyball. Now, Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill from Moneyball.
I don't know. Don't get mad at me because I don't know it.
Well, I guess what? I came up with it again.
You did. You dug deep. So that's not good. The Cowboys are doubling down and putting more of an emphasis on analytics, trends, and numbers, which is smart given how the league is going. Instead of being left behind, the Cowboys are proactive with their offseason hires, something that should pay off and on the field. What do you guys think? You like that? I mean, I feel like every team in the NFL should have been doing that prior to now.
Yeah, as long as you're not, what's the term, wagging the dog and having analytics lead what you're doing, because there is still...
You got to feel that. You got to feel it a bit.
You know, one day in the future, we will have perfect analytics where you can break something down and it's going to analyze everything and consolidate it and give you like a 99%.
I'll give you a good explanation. Yeah, someone can tell me how cold the water is, but I got to feel it with my feet.
Yeah, no, totally.
I got to get those feet in there and feel it.
At this point, like analytics will give you an answer to whatever you're asking, but it doesn't know how to necessarily calculate a player's ability. And I'll always go back to just and this can go for a number of NFL players, but Jerry Rice's game speed versus his whatever 4.6 or 4.7 40, where you could just see when he needed to, he was faster than
everyone else out there. I can't wait till 2075, we'll say, where it's just like a Madden simulation. Yeah. They just pick players, but then they just run the simulation against each other because then no one gets concussions.
Yeah. And all players do all week is they run drills to calculate their metrics, and then they take those metrics and they input them into a system. And
we laugh, but the guarantee you some teams are already flirting with like AI co-pilots in
definitely
figuring out some of those analytic stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like I guarantee by 2028, teams will probably have their own app so that you can ask rather than be like you're asking specific stats or something specific to your team that only you
NFL
can
will
see.
regulate it so everyone.
Well, yeah, every team will have some sort
Maybe
of
they
like,
should start with they should start with the fucking refs. Maybe they should go analytically.
like you want AI refs. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Well,
if they're gonna make the, it's like that stupid taxi driver in. Oh my god!
I'm a Johnny Cab.
I'm a Johnny Cab.
Total Recall's the movie.
Why
And
can't?
you're talking about the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, the older one, Johnny
why,
Cab.
Why can't they just have like here's a thing? Maybe give coaches one challenge, and if they get it, they get a second. And every single play is reviewed by a computer. And if there's a discretion, then the ref can go and look. Like the computer will call him over, the ref will verify it, and then make the call. If
Well, there's
not,
40 seconds most of the time between each
Yeah.
play. Like there is a lot
there's
of
more
time.
than enough time. Like and then there's obvious plays, but it's already running. Like it should just already be running. Why are you not calculating?
Yeah, well, and like they have
tracking that shit.
they have chips inside of the balls, and I'm not saying completely use that, but if you're already going to review certain plays, they should be quickly looking at a bunch of stuff and have people that are more progressive. Well, two things: have refs that are more progressive with technology. Let's utilize all the
Not a bunch
technology
of old fucks.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but the refs aren't even. It's not even like their full-time job.
It's not.
So, like with all of the money that's going on here, why are you not having these refs all year round, like focusing completely on that or training them up?
I mean,
or whatever the case
a
may
lot
be?
of the guys put in like a whole bunch of years before, but still, yeah, it's a good point.
Well, Ed Hockley was a lawyer. You know the guy that was jacked?
Here's
big,
the thing.
Big arms?
Think
He's a
how-
lawyer. Yeah, he's a lawyer.
Yeah, but think about that. Like, how much will you have to pay that guy to stay on as a ref? You know, right? He's
I'm
gonna
curious
be
what
I'm gonna be a fucking lawyer.
I'm curious what they do pay those,
Can we?
those
Yeah,
guys.
let's do. And Bob,
And is it per game?
Bandwagon Bob is saying theory is always different than practicum.
Shay, she's throwing out truth.
That's the sugar mama that we love. No one loves.
Sports app saying AI assisted refs wouldn't be a bad idea.
right. I think if you're going to go AI any route, that's got to be the very first
It's.
place.
I think that there is. I mean, an argument for all sports for that. Like, make the ref's job easier so they don't have so that they can watch for the more important
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
The ref's job really shouldn't be to determine. I mean, yes, okay. In one argument, you could say, well, it's to determine if it's a goal or not. It's like, no, really, he's just making the call if it checked off what in the rule book what makes a point or a score. What you want a ref there is to referee the game, make sure things don't get out of hand, make sure that they're playing by the rules that are set there.
Yep.
So if you can make their job easier, where they don't have to look for where they have to look for 4 things instead of 5 things, everyone wins there.
Well, for easy, like for an example, with like Ad was saying, with the ball being chipped and with all the technology and GPS technology that's out there, how is it just not automatically known when the ball crosses the goal line?
Yeah.
Chip the whole field.
That seems
Soccer's had that for years.
well, it seems like it should be something that's the tip it across the line.
Yes.
Lights go flashing or something. I don't know. There should be a way that it doesn't have to go back to taking 5 minutes for a ref to decide
Yeah.
if the ball crossed
Like
or not.
yeah, exactly. And it could be something like you could have little light points all across the field at every yard line, basically, so that you could see if it crosses that plane. So that you almost have like a millimeter of like precision. And again, the difference that people will argue with is that, well, that's not like you can't fully rely on technology. It's like, well, it's probably better reliance than an eyeball test.
Yep.
Or players on the bottom. Actually, I would love to see the GPS thing where when there's a dog pile, how much that ball's moving. It's
Totally.
just like it's glitching. No, that's NFL
That's
players
the bottom
moving
of
the
the
ball.
pile. That's
That's
the
the bottom
pile.
of the pile.
All of this too would feed back into the NFL because it would grant them greater, like a much more to the point analytics, which is going to help them make better decisions in the long run and everything. So I think we're all on board. Referee question, average of 205 per year. And they get played this was in, I don't know what year, 2019.
205,000?
205K a year. It's
Holy.
probably
That's a
gone up.
part-time job for them.
That's sick.
But it's probably gone up, and obviously because they got an additional game, so I'm sure that it's gone up. But for that same rate per game. But they get additional bonuses, of course, if they work in playoffs. Anywhere between 15,000 to 5,000
A game.
a game.
Wow.
You know what?
Wooey, wowie, whoa.
Woo.
And it could even be, and obviously there's a lot of like rules and gray areas around this, or there would be a lot of like debate, but it's almost as though at the end of a game, the refs should get analyzed by other refs, or you should get docked points or something if you did like a bad call. Now it won't reverse the game, but you need to have some sort of accountability to get to force them to get better. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. There's definitely always improvements for the reffing, but AJ just cruised by a question that I want to ask you guys because I was reading it as we were discussing the refs, and I think I know the answer, but and it's kind of laughable even. 2023 NFL season, is Dak Prescott on the hot seat this year? By the Cowboys fan home Fansided.
Yeah. Here we go. I mean, yes, but I think he'll be on the hot seat for the rest of his career if he's playing
as far
in
as
Dallas.
hot seat. The way I look at it as a hot seat is if he plays super bad, will he not be the quarterback for the Cowboys?
There's
the
a
following year?
chance.
You think so?
I think so because
Interesting.
if they don't make a move to do a contract, and he has the same type of year that he did last year with this surrounding cast, I'm saying I think you got to look to move on. Like what more can you do? And maybe he does have a bounce back season after that, but I'm just saying you're in the position after this season with the contract you have with him where you can move on from him.
Right.
Yeah.
I think consideration, whether or not, when we say hot seat, it's like if he doesn't perform this year, he'll be out next year. I think if anything, this year will dictate, like Alex was talking about, what they're going to do with him, not next year, but the year after. So if he has a bad season or a mediocre season this year, then next year it's like the true hot seat season where it's like he's going to be axed. I think this, obviously, there's a lot surrounding Dak. When they're looking at the team and the cast of characters, like Alex is saying, that they put in front of him right now, then everything's pointing towards like he should have no problem winning, going further than what we did last year and winning at least the divisional for us with this cast of characters. So.
For me, if they keep putting up 12-5 seasons and making the postseason, it's hard for me to get rid of your quarterback and start fresh. I'm not getting rid of Dak Prescott until we have somebody at least behind him that can come in and learn a year or two. Even if Dak has even an off year, I still think the team's good enough to make the postseason. So that's why I kind of find it laughable because there's no way in my mind Dak Prescott isn't a Dallas Cowboy in 2024.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me,
What if they go,
if he has, even if they 12-5, but he has a dog shit season, I mean, of course, I think I'm on board too. Like, you don't want to get rid of something before you have something else, but you got him making those moves to invest in the next player, meaning like you got to move up in the draft to probably, if you're finishing 12-5, you got to move up in the draft. And so I don't know that you would have anything on the team at that point. So either would have to align with, I don't know who the free agencies are coming up in 2024. I'm sure there's a couple guys.
Or you're willing to make a giant splash in the draft.
Pay heavily.
The only reason I think he's on the team next year, and I would take more credence to this hot seat type thing, is if they did draft a quarterback early this year, I'd be like, oh, fuck, they're planning on if Dak has a bit of a whiff of a year. I honestly still don't even think his year was that bad. Yeah, his interception numbers were up, and obviously his San Francisco game wasn't great in the postseason, but I don't know. I think he's a quarterback for us for a while.
And to be clear, I don't think that he is. I'm just saying, for the sake of argument of a hot seat,
I can make an argument.
I think that could be, but I mean, when you start to look at his numbers compared to other quarterbacks, at this point, he's pretty much right in line with Josh Allen and not too far behind who is Mahomes, even on the interceptions level, right?
Well, you look at it this way. Look how much the Giants just paid Daniel Jones. Is Dak Prescott a way better option than Daniel Jones? Yes. And they still paid Daniel Jones $45 million a year. Mm-hmm. So unless you're moving up to draft, which we talked about, unless you're moving up to draft a quarterback in the top 5, that you're just not finding his replacement or anyone better.
I think we'll probably see, like, okay, if Dak has a mediocre season, guarantee we're drafting a quarterback next year.
But what's it? So to you guys, what's mediocre?
Mediocre would be feeling kind of surprised more often than not with his games. I don't really honestly care about the interceptions. If he puts up something between 35 or 40 touchdowns and then gets, I don't know, 15 to even 20 interceptions, I mean, that's a shit ton of interceptions, but I can kind of be
Justify
okay with it. Yeah, if he's erasing those interceptions with a touchdown that he really strives for when he makes that mistake, and he's throwing, 1,000+ yards to 3 different wide receivers and the group of tight ends, I mean, there's a lot of variables in there. What would make it a shitty season to me would be like underwhelming yards with a lot of passes that stand out throughout the year where you're like, what the fuck did you just throw there, Dak? And those adding up rather than last year where, I mean, it felt like more often than not, you're kind of like, wow, that was so overthrown. I need to look at this again and then lo and behold, it was like
last year with his average per game for touchdowns, if he would have played a 17-game season, he throws 32 touchdowns, which is still respectable, right? Like I still think that's a respectable amount.
Yep.
But then his interceptions would have been, let me do some quick math here.
Dun, 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 dun. Doing math.
Yeah, but he would have had like 21 interceptions.
Yeah, and that ratio is not
That's
good.
not good. If you're throwing 21 in, or if you're crack him if you got him.
Anything under 10. Okay, so if
2 to 1 is what I'm looking for, but you need to be throwing high. Sorry.
Anything under like 10 wins next year, and I guess, even if we're winning the games and we get into the playoffs, but we're not able to get to the divisional, I think if we see Dak if Dak struggles with the offense, if the interceptions are still high, it's something still not clicking, then it's going to be a mediocre season for him. Because I think at this level, we need the wins and we need our quarterback to kind of win us those important games.
Come on, man.
All right, so Cowboys O-line, secret weapon, Matt Weletko, flexing
Sick.
muscle, Jonathan Alfano, Sports Illustrated.
Like, is he actually flexing?
He's getting jacked up.
Second-year offensive lineman Matt Weletko, and he's a big bird, is coming along nicely in his sophomore season with the Dallas Cowboys and is learning at multiple positions. He's doing doggy style.
Ooh.
He's doing cowgirl, reverse cowgirl.
Pile driver,
Missionary.
I mean, it is. Yeah, you got it.
You got to have that in your arsenal.
It's got to be in there.
Being able to play in a variety of situations is a good way for an under-publicized guy to stand out, and Weletko's versatility has already caught the attention of head coach Mike McCarthy. Mike?
You watch him come out of college, you see this guy has a little better feet than we probably realized, and obviously playing tackle with his length. When he walks in the door, it's easy to think this guy's going to be a left or right tackle the rest of his career, but really showing the ability to, to also play inside.
Okay. To say Weletko's rookie season didn't go according to plan would be putting it lightly. He only played in 3 games and took just 12 total snaps, with all but one of them being on special teams, and suffered a season-ending shoulder injury in October. It took until May for Weletko to return to action, but he put everything he had into his recovery.
I was waiting for Ad to do the Weletko.
Oh, that's Mike.
That's Mike.
Oh, is that Mike still?
Yeah,
you really don't know until you get in there and see what their capabilities are. He didn't miss a workout session with the rehab. He put in a tremendous amount of extra time and energy into the shoulder recovery.
Okay, so
I like it. It sounds like he's working hard. Maybe that's the whole reason that we didn't go heavy on O-line early in the draft. Maybe they really believe in this guy.
Yeah.
A lot of Cowboys Nation was up in arms last year when we didn't re-sign Lael Collins, and everyone was pissed that we were rolling with Terrence Steele. But the guys in the office knew that they maybe had a guy that was able to step in and play just as well, if not better.
So here's my question though. You and I have a couple of these friends, but do you have any big, long, lanky friends?
Not really. Not really, to be honest.
6'7", 6'8".
I know, maybe, sure. For the sake of what you're going to say, yes.
Yeah. So, not saying that this is for everyone, but they have nagging injuries because of just the general more force on the same joints, and not saying that their joints and ligaments are the same as mine, but made of the same material, right? So it's always a little concerning when a big guy like this, who has it's not only that he's big, he has like an exceptionally long wingspan. When he's putting his arm out and reaching even further, it's just adding more more torque on that joint. And so that could just be a problem that doesn't go away. And if that's the case, it's going to render him pretty much useless because he's just not able to block. He's not able to use his physical gift.
You don't want to see these injuries this early on either, right? He's only in his second year, third year?
No, I guess sophomore, yeah.
Yeah,
like
so,
yeah.
so, I mean, that's not great. We don't like seeing injuries in your rookie year, especially to the big guy. They're like, what are the...
I'm not a doctor, by the way.
No,
so.
you're not.
Yeah, that's
Doctor
I
Alex?
thought you were for a second.
I thought you were. I thought you were a doctor.
No, it's just,
Throw him in. Let's see what the kid's made of.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Throw him in, and he's wanting to get into that pit.
Well, this is actually going to be a nice. This will be the last headline because this kind of goes into what we're going to do next quite nicely. The Cowboys defense in 2 words: chaotic simplicity. Ooh.
From Joey Ickies from Blogging the Boys.
Ooh, icky, sticky, icky with Blogging the
A
Boys.
comprehensive look at the dominant Dallas defense.
Da-da-da-da.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
The turnaround from being one of the league's worst defense in 2020 to one of its best in 2021-2022 has garnered Quinn praise for reinventing himself and created consistent buzz related to just about every head coaching vacancy. But how has
Look at this.
But how has Quinn
That's Lieutenant Deion.
crafted one of the top units in the league? It boils down to 2 words: chaotic simplicity. Quinn is not
That's my
revolutionary.
band name.
That's a good band name, actually.
That's a very good band
It's
name.
just all triangle.
Quinn has not revolutionized who he is as a defensive coach. The fingerprints of the Legion of Boom that Quinn coordinated a decade ago are still all over the Dallas defense. That Seahawks group was famous for being almost embarrassingly simple in their coverage schemes. Those teams ran cover 1, which is man coverage with the free safety in the middle of the field for all you idiots out there.
Morons,
Whoa.
fucking
Or-
stupid idiots out there.
Or cover 3 deep for under zone coverage, again for the idiots out there, on virtually every snap.
Crazy.
In 2022, I mean, do we want to...
That's like that's my Madden.
So he's just saying that they ran very simple coverages,
Right,
and ran them well.
That's my whole Madden strategy. On first down, you're hoping they're running and you go cover 1.
Yep.
And then every other time you think they're throwing, you just go cover 3.
Lieutenant Deion.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Deion, ice cream. That's Lieutenant Deion.
Chaotic simplicity, like Adam's fucking sound bites there.
Well, you can't just. I mean, it's been a
minute.
long time since I did a 4-banger.
That is a fan
Lieutenant
favorite
Dan.
too. The 4-banger Lieutenant Dan is a fan favorite.
Yeah, we have new fan favorites that'll come up in the 2023 season, but we're not gonna tell you.
We ain't tipping our hand. We ain't showing our hand.
So yeah, I guess like if they're looking at what defensive guru Lieutenant Dan's done with the defense, it sounds like they're taking a similar approach to the offense. And I think, outside of, I mean, what else in the article do we want to really say there? Because we kind of, okay, well here, let me bring it back up. So how is Dallas's defense able to be so simple in coverage and still be second in total defensive DVOA and
That
third in pass?
DVOA.
The DVOA, baby.
And third in pass defense DVOA. One way is that the Cowboys do a good job of giving quarterbacks false keys pre-snap. This play with Trevon Diggs lined up out of position in the slot against Cooper Kupp.
Okay, they're they're just explaining a play that we can't
that we
don't
can't
actually
see.
have. But I'm sure it was immaculate.
It was a gorgeous
There's lots of false keys pre-snap. So this actually rolls nicely with what we're going to do. Last week on the Sunday service, we went through and used our Super Scion tiering method and went through the offense and ranked each, I would say starters, then with a couple in deep positions, we went to maybe 4 players. This week, we are going to do the tiering of the Cowboys starting defense.
I'm just recorrecting it.
Oh, I like that you even got the on the bottom. You got training down, training up, expectations.
Yeah, just so we're a little more clear. I'm trying to get a soundbite to work.
What you
That one works. There it is. There it is.
What a rush.
Okay.
I'm going here. Okay, so
Pretty simple. We've done this tiering system a lot. We did it for prior. We did positions on the Dallas Cowboys. Then we ran through the offense. Now we're running through each player on the defense.
So what do you think? We can go. I think how we did it last time was we picked the positions and then ran through those players.
Yep.
So who do we want to start with?
Defense!
Safety works out good for me, I think. I think last week we started off with tight end.
Sure.
I think safeties is kind of the equivalent of the defense to the tight ends.
Okay, well, let's start with I'm not going to hold any fucking punches here. We're going to come in hard.
J-Ron Kearse is the first man up on the board. So are we last week we discussed that we're not basing it purely on the 1 year. We're basing it on of how the guy's going to be, how he has been as a Cowboy and how he has been in his career. We gave the safeties an S ranking in our positional rank tiers. So for this, I have to give J-Ron Kearse an A.
Absolutely.
I think our safeties were one of our strongest positional groups on the team.
J-Aaron?
J, the A, Ron Kearse.
J-Aaron Kearse? J-Aaron? That's a callback to
Key and Peele.
Yep.
So then next up, we'll do... So J-Ron was easy. He was quick off the board. The guy brings intimidation. This is what I like about J-Ron too. He has a lot of switchblade type ability. He can get down there in the box, but he can also drop back in coverage, which is just super important to have from your safety position. So next up, we'll do Malik Hooker. Or do you want to do Donald Wilson or Malik Hooker? We're doing hooks.
We'll put Hooker in there, but we'll do Wilson next. Okay. Hooker. I mean, look, to be quite honest, I'm just going to show my cards. I think all three of these guys are A's.
Agreed.
Kearse, Hooker, Wilson.
We have to do it. We gave them an S grouping.
Yeah, I can't see them being B's, and I don't think any of them stand out to be an S.
No. The good thing with these guys is if one of them gets hurt, there's not much drop off, right? So either these guys gets hurt, we're still going to be able to have two really good safeties, and we're not going to drop off too much. So with J-Ron Kearse, Malik Hooker, and Dono Dub, I feel very comfortable with having them all at A's.
Zagama Beach.
Okay. So that's, safeties, I guess we just honorable mention. There is Mukuamu, but let's just stick with the starters.
I think three's good.
Yeah,
Three is more than enough for safeties. So I'm just going down PFF's top 32 safeties.
Yeah.
They had J-Ron Kearse at 19. I'm going to keep going down and see if any of our other guys end up getting on there in the 32.
19.
Donovan Wilson at 26.
Okay.
Let's see. Can we get and Malik Hooker 30. So all three of our safeties are ranked top 32 top 32. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
If out of your three starters, they're all in the top 32 of their position. I think that's a fair ranking here. AAA with a overall of an S.
Yeah, and I'm a little upset that J-Ron's down so far on that, but
yeah,
I figure like
I don't feel like 19's terrible though.
It's not terrible, but when you think if there's 32 teams, he's below half, and I think he's probably 15.
Right. Personally, I agree. 15 I'd be better with.
But I don't. Maybe there's fucking awesome safeties in the NFL.
Harrison Smith, though, for Minnesota Vikings, he's at 17. He's a very good guy. Jamal Adams for the Seahawks is 16.
Yep.
There's just a lot of, like, the top 5 guys for safeties.
It's probably a heavy depth position.
Yeah, and you got Derwin James, who's amazing. Minka Fitzpatrick, Kevin Byard, like Antoine Winfield Jr. These are all very good players who have had a lot more invested than them with draft picks and contracts than what we've paid for J-Ron. So I'll take J-Ron at 19 if he gets us that deal.
Hey, either way, 3 A's make an S.
That's true.
3 A's make an S.
That's how we do it.
Quote 'em.
Look, it's like in fantasy, and by the way, this is Secrets of Mana that I have up here today on our board. If you're listening, you're like, what's he talking about? Well, each time we do a board, I switch out to a different fantasy RPG.
He loves it. Big fantasy RPG guy here.
But yes, whatever I was saying doesn't matter now. Let's move on to the next position. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you were just giving context to why there's anime on a Cowboys tier list.
I jumped to that and I had an original point. If it comes back to me,
Question: are we gonna do defensive interior and edge, or are we just gonna do that as defensive line?
it doesn't matter. We're doing individual players.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Remember, and then those individual players should make up our
Defensive
overall-
line.
Defensive
Well,
line.
it'll be interesting to see what we do.
Let's go defensive. Let's start. Oh yeah, we're going players. So we could
Let's-
really just call out any name if we wanted to. If you guys get a name,
Osa Odigizua.
Okay, so we'll be going D line.
D line. Okay, so Osa, we're starting off with Osa Odigizua.
Osa.
The hardest freaking one.
Just do Osa O.
Osa O.
Osa Odigizua.
So he's been on an uptrend for me. His rookie season, he showed flashes, and then last year he really came in and he was getting to the quarterback. He was noticeably the best defensive interior that we had. He surpassed Neville Gallimore for me, and I think he's trending up. But for me personally, I still think he's probably a B ranked guy.
Trending up, B ranked guy. I can live with that. But I think B's pretty fair. Trending up, I'm not gonna argue about because I hope so.
Well, his stats last year, so in 2021, he had 35 or 36 combined tackles with 2 sacks. And then in 2022, 43 combined with 4 sacks. So he was getting some pressure. He was getting some pressure on the QB, but still, he's not in the A range where I'm going to say an A range guy is maybe like a Vita Vey, someone like that, right? Like that's an A for me. And then you have an S ranked interior guy who's obviously an Aaron Donald, right? So he still has a long way to go until he wants to get in the same conversation with some of the big boys in the A and S columns.
I guess the only argument, just to put a little more conversation for Double O here, is there could be an argument to say that he's actually a C trending up to a B.
Fair? Yep. I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, but I think it's fair because of the necessity that he's playing in the defense, right? And playing it well. Could easily drop down though if he has just a regular year.
Oh, definitely. He could definitely flatten out and drop to a C. Without a doubt. His run defense on PFF was only graded 54.7, but pass rush was up there at almost a 70. So he's definitely not, well, you could tell just by watching Cowboys games that the interior wasn't stopping much of the run, but he does get that pressure, which then gets guys like Micah Parsons sacks when the guys roll into the outside.
What do you think at B or C?
I mean, I'm going to be a little bit biased because we had his agent on.
Ad gives him an S.
So I'm going to give him an S. No,
Okay, move him up to
no,
an
no.
A.
I definitely don't think he's a C. I feel good with him in the B with a
Yeah,
trending up.
C's your average NFL player, and I do think he's a step above that. I think he
Like Neville Gallimore's a C for me.
Yeah, I think Osa with his play last year definitely, even if it is the bottom rung, he definitely achieved a B level. And look, we don't play with B minuses and B pluses, okay? But theoretically, he would be a B minus.
Well, a B is, I guess we kind of do.
B's a B though.
A B trending up is a B. I guess you could be a B minus trending
B
up.
trending up though means that we're projecting that
He's going to be an A
from
player.
last year. Yeah, exactly.
From his first year to his second year, he was going up on those first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to go Jonathan Hankins or Neville Gallimore for our set? Or no, actually, I think we got to go Mozzie Smith.
Mozzie Smith.
We're looking at starters, right?
Yeah, so we got to go Mozzie Smith as our second. Because I figure we only do 2 interior, 2 edge guys. Otherwise, we'll be here all day.
If there's a guy who is on a second level and we want to do him, we can do him. We have no rules.
So Mozzie Smith, this is a tricky one because draft picks, you almost have to grade them on what they got drafted, where they got drafted.
It's expectation.
It's expectations. And to me, a first round pick should have an A expectation.
Yeah.
If you're drafting a guy in the first round, you're expecting him to come in and have success right off the bat. And Mozzie Smith we already know he's getting put in a position where they expect him to play as an A type player. Although I think even him playing as a B would be a severe upgrade on what we had. But for my expectations for Mozzie is that he's an A guy. The Cowboys like what he did. He's that big body run stuffer. Hopefully he ends up being that guy and we end up keeping him at the A, but he could also flirt with a B.
Yeah, and a B would be
a
disappointment.
I think A. I agree with you guys on A, based on how he's been drafted and where he's going to be. Not a B, though.
So what would it take? What would it?
Where's he going to be a B?
Okay, so what would take for him to stay as an A? Like, what does he have to do for him to stay as an A?
I'm looking for 9.5 sacks. Or no, maybe not
Holy
sacks.
shit,
Sorry.
that's an S.
Sorry, hang on.
He's going to the S club.
Totally wrong. I would actually look for like a shrinking runs
That's the ticket.
run average against us. That's where I think
That number needs to fall. What it was the last couple of years.
If Micah goes above 11.5 sacks with his addition, that's a nice bonus, right? Maybe higher.
I think higher because he's had 13
and a half.
He's had 13 and a half. He had 13. Micah had 13 his first year, 13 and a half his second.
Yeah.
For it to be the Mozzie effect, you'd have to see more.
It has to go more.
It has to be more.
15 and a half.
15 and a half is the Mozzie effect.
Adding 2 more?
Oh, definitely. For sure.
I mean, if we are ranked a couple spots higher than what we were last year for our run defense, he's doing his job.
Definitely. That's what Alex means. I don't think Mozzie's one of those guys that the individual accolades might not matter as much as the team accolades, because if the team's run defense is better by the end of the season, well, that's the Mozzie effect. That's what we're going to call it. The Mozzie effect.
The Mozzie effect. Coming to you on HBO Max.
That's my HBO sound.
I think he's on steroids.
If you watched him bench press, you might think that the guy is an absolute tank.
Or a fridge, as they like to call him. Or they call him a fridge?
No, you can't call him the fridge because there's already the fridge. He'd have to be like the oversized cooler or something.
I think it's something oversized fridge.
I like bowling ball. He looks like a bowling ball. So Coach Law, D-Law's up. D-Law's another tricky one because he doesn't put up those flashy stats as a rushing guy. But I think we call him Coach D-Law because I think he's such a pivotal part to this defense. And then I was looking through his PFF stats. He had the second most solo tackles by a defensive lineman. So he's everywhere. He helps in the run game, right? So even Mozzie in there, maybe helping D-Law. Maybe D-Law is going to have more TFLs, more sacks, knowing that he doesn't necessarily have to be the guy that's stopping all the run. We love D-Law. He's an A for me. When D-Law's in the lineup, he's better, and he does his position isn't necessarily the big sack number. It's to get the guys in order and TFLs, baby.
I'll point back to that one play after Micah Parsons made that incredible rundown hustle and was it knocked the player out of bounds right at the 1
it was
yard
against
line?
Detroit. He chased him down and tackled him at Micah chased him down and tackled him on the 1 yard line.
Just an amazing play. And then the play right after that was equally or even more amazing with the way that D-Law played that line and I think
put a helmet on the ball.
Yeah.
Caused a fumble.
But he bounced off a blocker and got that right there just shows the type of guy. And that's just one. That play was just very significant, but he does that type of thing all the time.
I feel like the A space. I feel like the A space is going to be pretty full. I like our defense, man. I really do. So for me, D-Law is an A.
I mean, we're banging off we're banging off all the bangers right now.
We're banging off the bangers.
Bangers.
Last on the line here, or maybe not last. Because I think Sam Williams would be an interesting one to do.
Well, and so who are we doing for our last pick?
Well, you got to.
Well, this is Micah Parsons.
Well, no, but Micah's not really. Are we calling him line?
He's listed. He's listed.
So I think we put him as. Well, I mean, he's an S. Do we even have to discuss this? Yeah. I mean, Micah's an S. Without a doubt.
Well, yeah, we're doing players. We're just categorizing them on the line, so it doesn't really matter. We're not.
But I was saying because realistically, then you don't have your second true defensive end that we're going to rank like a Sam Williams or a Fowler Jr.
We can bring in one of those
or a
guys.
Dorrance Armstrong.
Well, we can do one of those guys, but we did include Micah in
On
our
D-line.
Yes, so
It's why they went S.
sitting. Yeah, so
He's an S, man. 13 sacks as a rookie, 13 and a half in his second year, sophomore season, as people like to call it. NFL.com ranked him as the #1 player they would build a franchise around that wasn't a quarterback.
3 major impact players and plays average per game, either a sack or a tackle for a loss or a quarterback hit. So
He's an S.
yeah, he's just a disturbance.
Hey, if this is your first time in the chat and you haven't dropped a like, please leave us a like. And if you haven't ever been to cowboyscanfan.com, hit that up, or all of our other social media platforms, which are at CowboysCanFan on all the major social media platforms.
Okay,
It sounds as though you almost went into like an ad read. Like we
I
just,
had to. I noticed we don't do that, and we need to shout ourselves out. If we're going to get demonetized by
I
YouTube,
know.
we're only looking out for ourselves. Well, AJ, can you toss me one, son?
here's the 2 guys. Yes, and here's the 2 guys I want to do left on the D line.
Oh, AJ, no
And I
wonder
wanna
we-
do 'em
hey,
good.
no wonder we got demonetized.
I want to do them real good. I want to do
to the
Sam,
sides,
and you guys get to pick 2, and then we'll. And,
What's
and
2
then,
dudes we want you to do?
Yeah, I pick 2 dudes I want to do. You pick the 2 dudes that you want me to do, and then we pick. So Sam Williams
Mozzie
and,
Smith.
and Junior Fiocco are my 2 guys
Okay.
that I still want to do.
Sam Williams, you mean?
Yeah, what did I say?
Sam Smith?
Sam Smith, the actor.
AJ, yeah, that is. AJ just actually wants to do Sam Smith.
AJ
Yeah, the throat
does
is-
want
yeah.
to do Sam Smith.
Dude's rich as fuck, but his body is not.
A wonder or
His body's not a wonderland.
who's that? Is that Buble?
I don't know.
No, it's isn't it John Mayer?
Maybe. Crack him if you got him.
We're just having a good time.
just having a
on
good time
the
on
Father's
Father's
Day.
Day.
One father,
Can you toss me one too?
2 brothers, but one of the brothers is just a fake friend, a fake brother. He's just
baby, that's what we do.
Sorry. This is what I want. I was trying not to cut AJ off, but I when he's saying he wanted to do 2 dudes,
Utah, give me 2.
that's how AJ is saying right now.
So Sam Williams and Junior Fiocco is who AJ wants to do. So which one you want to go? Let's go Sam Williams first because he's in his second year.
I would. Is
there any other guys that
you're just going to concede to him?
Well, yeah, we outplayed you.
What about
2-1.
What about Sam Williams and Overshone?
Overshone's a linebacker.
Anderson's a linebacker.
Oh, you're talking about 2 more on the line.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, 2 more on the line.
Oh, there's
that's
way more
excessive.
players we want to do.
Yeah, but we're not going to do all the players.
No, we're not going to do all the players. He wants to do 2 more on the offense or the defensive line, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Sam Williams.
You still have a half hour. We're rolling great.
Oh, I don't give a rip.
I don't give a hot dang. Okay, Sam Williams, guys. I like what he did. I do like what he did in his short amount of time on the field, and I would definitely like to see him get more play time. Is he going to? The defensive line is still very congested.
Yeah.
It's really going to take him a lot to get more reps. Like it's just the way it is. Who's he going to surpass? Is he going to surpass Armstrong? Armstrong had a great year. So I'm flirting. I'm saying Sam Williams for me right now is a B.
He's a B.
He's a badass boy from the Moulin Rouge. And so he played. So last year he was in 15 games. He didn't start a single game. He had 15 solo tackles, 7 assists, and where are the sacks? And 4 sacks. So no numbers that are going to jump out at you, but he was getting pressure. He definitely felt like when he was on the field, he made a difference. So I would love to see some more chances from Sam Williams. But at this point, definitely a B.
Sorry, AJ's over here fucking coughing up a lung like Doc Holliday in Tombstone with his tuberculosis covering his face like that. Oh my god.
Look,
He says, I want to
I
do these
just
2
want to
guys and he
add.
coughs
I just want to
himself.
add a little bit of variance, and I want to get a little bit more harsher. I think Sam Williams is a C trending up to a B.
I think his expectations is that we all thought he was going to be a solid B. And then,
What do you think?
I can deal with a C after looking at his stats.
yeah, I mean, I was gonna
Trendo
say,
up.
I was going to say B, but with based on the stat, if we're going to go, if we're going to
B's the
stats guide,
expectation, but you can only get that as a rookie.
and
Okay.
technically his
We
draft-
can't add a expectation on a guy who's
yeah,
playing.
and,
Okay,
and,
see him.
and technically his draft area, you could say he was a C, 3rd round.
He's drafted 2nd round.
Oh, well, then he should be fucking an A.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's kind of big about this.
Doing his C because he was drafted in the
Crack him if you got him.
and then he's not getting as much playing time as we thought he should get.
Trendo up though.
Trending up because he was good when he was out there, but he didn't get enough playing time. And no matter how you break that down,
It's because you weren't good enough.
you just weren't good enough. Yeah.
Or could we say, I would contest the trending up though. We want him. His expectation should be a B. I would say put an expectation on a B.
But the trending up is if he continues to play like he is, he will be a B. Right? Although I think you are right. He needs to get more time. And if we don't think that he's going to get that time on the field, then he can't be a B. That's my thing. I don't think we're looking negatively at at how he's going to play next year. We're looking positively, and that's why the trending up is there. You know, like if we were like, oh, but he didn't play very well.
Well, yeah, no, that's why I feel like his expectations of we have expectations that he should be a B where he was drafted, and then
Did Anth power off?
I'm trying to see how many.
looked at it. He looked like like a robot.
No, I'm trying to see how many total snaps he played.
Yeah, I actually think because Duffy did break this down, so he did do very well. But here's my thing always about guys who do very well with kind of a one season or so of a small of the smaller snaps, and this includes tight ends, Ferguson and Hendershot, is what are those snaps that they're coming in on? Are they playing more against the lower quality guys and that, or are they playing in a specific package that's like made to get them the ball or made to get that guy in for a sack or a tackle, whatever? And if that's the case, I mean, that's great that they're doing it, but it's a different thing to compare it against someone who's doing that 3 or 4 times more throughout the season, because they're going to be hitting the Trent Williams or whoever on the offensive line way more often than the other person, right? So
C trending up, possibly could have been a B, but
it's fun this way.
it's fun this way. But like you said, we need to have a little bit of variance. Hey, you know what we should have done to get some variance? We should have rated Bossman fat. we could have just thrown him at an E and called it a day.
Let's save it. He'll be our first E.
So Fiocco, this is going to be a tricky one then, because he was drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah.
So for me, a 4th round pick who's already on a stacked offense or defensive line, this is what we're expecting him to be. I would expect him to be a C. As a guy that when he's there, so this is what I'm thinking is a C. A D is someone that when they got the opportunities, they failed.
Yep.
A C for me is we want you to be out there, and when you're given the opportunity, you're able to be a servable NFL player.
Yep.
Does that make sense? That for me, that's my expectation. If Junior Fiocco can get out there and contribute with as little playing time that he's probably going to get, there's a chance he doesn't make the team too. To be honest, there's a chance that he doesn't make the squad. So if he can get out there and be a solid C for us, that's a great spot for him for a 4th round pick.
True, and I just really like the guy. So this is my hope. I actually I hope that he comes out there and is a B player, because from what my theory of what he's going to play like next year is I think he's going to be very good, and I think he's going to if he's given the chance, he's going to make some.
That's what I'm scared about though, AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Is he even going to get the chance to do it? Because
this is the battle. I think the battle comes down between Williams and Fiocco.
So you got who right now? You got who ahead of Fiocco? You got Williams ahead of him. You got Dorrance Armstrong ahead of him. You got Fowler Jr. ahead of him, and you got D-Law. Yeah, Golston, and then Micah. So there's a lot of people that he's got to fight for to even get a chance on the field.
That is true.
So, but that's the whole reason they have training camp. That's the whole reason they have these preseason games. Get out there, and that's the whole reason you need depth on your defensive line. Who's to say by the end of the season we don't have a couple catastrophic injuries and the guys out there playing with the ones, which would be awful for if that happens.
Your DEs are your defensive tackles. Don't agree.
Yeah, no, I just don't agree with the.
Crack me if you got him.
If you got him, what?
I just think that you gave Junior Fiocco the expectations going up, and I don't think I feel
'Cause
almost
he's a
as
rookie.
I almost feel like Sam Williams would be a B trending down, but
You got voted out.
I know. I got voted off the island, and I'm fine with that.
Although Father's Day, does he get an extra vote? Nope. Okay, on to shut up.
Okay, no, on to linebackers.
LVE, the Wolf Hunter. See, he's a tricky one. LVE has had a roller coaster of a career. He was awesome. He's been an all-pro. He's been injured. He's had a little bit of resurgence. I'm going with how he was last year.
Yeah.
And this might be a little
trending up.
Be trending up. If he can have a stack another year like he had last year, he's right back into that A territory.
Stack them racks and get that bag.
He had such a good first year that it almost gave me so much hope for him. His first year with him and Jalen Smith playing linebacker together, I was just like, man, we figured it out. We got these guys for the next 8 years. And then it's just been such a roller coaster ride with the Wolf Hunter.
Yeah.
But be trending up, possibility to get back up to that A tier if he can just hold it together. The re-signing of Jonathan Hankins and then adding Mozzie Smith, Osa coming into his third year, it's stacking up all the odds for LVE to have another great season.
I'm surprised that they're still allowing him to have the name Wolf Hunter in this PC climate. Like, I'm surprised PETA or somebody doesn't come after him for hunting animals
Hunting
like that.
wolves?
Hunting
No,
wolves.
but
He is the wolf.
he's the wolf. That's hunting.
That's why he howls. That's why he goes like this.
Oh, I thought it was more like.
Or just call him Wolf Guy.
Wolf boy?
Oh, here comes Wolf Boy.
Wolfie? Hey, is that Wolfie in the background?
What's wrong with Wolfie?
Why don't we have that as a soundbite for when LVE's getting bullied? What's wrong with Wolfie?
Hey, what's wrong with Wolfie? Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
LVE's great there. I said, he had a good season. He's trending up. He has a very good chance.
Okay,
to get
we
into the
do
A
have
box.
Kahuna's contesting our rating. LVE is an A, and then in capitals,
Whoa.
he's our most consistent linebacker. You can see how valuable him being on the field with the younger guys are.
I just feel
I mean,
I'm taking in his 2 years ago season, his little cub season where he's playing like a little wolf cub.
Just purring.
Now he's okay, if this is Lion King, that was him. That was post Mustafa being killed, him scared, alone, lost in the wild. But last season was him. He's met Timon and Pumbaa.
He's eating grubs.
He's grown up. He's learned to live in the wild.
okay, where's he ranked on PFF?
I got it right now. So this is my only thing with him. Solo tackles, he was ranked 48th. Assists, 33rd. That is not good numbers for your middle linebacker. You want your middle linebacker to be at least top 15 in solo tackles and assists for him to be an A. These are B numbers. 48th overall as a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
33rd. Those are B numbers.
They are B.
His overall player grades in 2022 was 70.8. That's literally a B. It's actually a C plus, I think.
Yeah.
So
In fact, I think he's borderline C, but I don't know. I got to give him the B, man.
Hey, yo.
Nate Dogg in the house. Sup, Nate?
Sup.
Missed tackles. He only had 6 missed tackles, but it's hard to miss a tackle when you're just running adjacent with the guy down the field for 15 yards.
Because he never gets close enough to miss.
I like LV. He had a way better season last year than he had in 2021.
We're hopeful.
We're hopeful. I want him to be an S.
So the Botji Eric saying the Big Kahuna has spoken, got to show some LVE love. And then Nate Dogg says, survey says, LVE is mid.
Yeah, LVE, he's a B, baby.
Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong.
Okay.
Fuck LV. Oh, okay. What? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Damone Clark.
Another guy who's I think could be trending up.
Trending up, but C.
Yeah, I'm yet to put him as a B. I think C trending up. And to me, if he has a good enough season, he might just jump the whole B category himself.
Yes, 100%. And there's no rule that says that you can only move up one level per year.
Can you have a trending up and an expectations up?
Only on
Lowered expectation.
The expectation is only for rookies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that.
I've clarified it. To
He
you
has said it a couple times.
This
Well,
is
I'm
the
just-
third time I've told you.
Yeah, and
you
it
just
probably,
keep ignoring
Guess
me.
what? It probably won't be your last time.
I think Damone Clark probably could be an expectation because
Oh, okay. Hang on.
What did you say?
Bocce Eric also brings a great point out here.
Uh-oh.
LVE threw a shutout to Can Fan last training camp. That alone puts him at an A.
Well, that alone actually just kept him out of being an F last year. Like going into the season last year, that was the only thing I was like, okay, maybe I got to stop rating
you
on
gotta
LVE
think-
so bad. 2021, I was at a constant battle watching Leighton Vander Esch. It was not when the defense was out there, he was the only guy I would hyper focus on. And until the playoff game against San Fran, where he had an actually unbelievable game, was probably our best defensive player on the field.
I really like him on the sounds of the sidelines. I actually am considering an LVE jersey this year.
Ooh, okay.
But we've moved on from LVE.
So Damone Clark, solo tackle, 74th. He's ranked 74th and assists 72nd. Overall grade by PFF is a 65.5. His run defense was 64.3. I think a C is very fair.
Sorry, Doc Holiday is just.
What are you
puking.
smoking? Black tar heroin over there?
I'm just trying to cover my mouth so I don't annoy everyone listening.
I'm your huckleberry.
So yeah, I mean, what what did we give our linebacking core? As
Well,
a
we're
grade?
not looking yet.
I think we gave them a C.
It was not one of our
was a C.
Hey,
best.
guys, we're pretty consistent with our
We're
ratings
pretty
here.
consistent with
We
our
are
ratings.
because we thought about all this. Cox, C.
Yeah, and
Jabby Cox, yeah.
again, could be trending up, but to me, he's actually trending down because he
should have had his season.
he
last
should have
year.
had his season last year, or is he just sitting pretty here?
No, I think you're all right because here's why he's trending down. Because if he doesn't come in, then guess who is? We're hoping is Overshown.
Overshown, baby.
So that's
Don't get me wrong, with the Wolf Hunter, with Damone Clark, and with Jabby Cox and Overshown,
oh yeah.
I want these guys to take the next step. This is just how we feel. I think our weakest spot on the team was linebacker last year.
And
interior.
And it is this.
And it is this year,
Yeah.
clearly by the board. So I think that's fair.
The board don't lie. The board does not lie. When you really sit down and analyze the game like the Cowboys Can Fan, you realize that the board does not lie.
You realize
These-
that you should lay off
These
the
guys
alcohol.
use objective analytics
They Google, they have
or
great-
subjective.
They have a subscription to PFF that they just read the grades off of.
Bot G. Eric says, or two-time Can Fan Award winner Bot G. Eric says, typical, always judging men by the size of their cocks.
That's just
Classic.
Alex.
Hey,
That's just AJ.
Bring on the bots. Bring on the
Sex
bots.
bots.
Hey,
Bring on those bots.
Overshown, what's the expectation here?
I think he's a C expectation. Again, like I said with Junior, he's a third-round pick. If he can just get in there and he's not going to be expected to start over Damone Clark or Jabril Cox. He's there.
The way that Cowboy Nation's talking
Well,
about him,
but-
his expectation's supposed to be
Third
A.
round draft pick.
Yep. So to me, if he ends up surpassing the battles between him and Jabril Cox,
Sure.
expectation is when he's in there, he's a serviceable player.
I think the expectation could be a B because you want him to stand out above Jabril Cox. We don't really want to just replace Cox with another Cox. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, you are right.
But if you're trying to replace him for what you wanted him to just be in the originally, which was a serviceable linebacker, like Jabril Cox wasn't signed. Like
And
when
he's
he was
trending
drafted,
down to a D.
that's what I mean. So
Yeah.
to me, he's just that. Anyone from the kind of the third to the sixth are kind of C guys.
Yeah,
where
a player.
A second round's a B expectations,
That's
a
fair.
first round's an A.
That's fair. Let's pop him there.
And if he's better than that, if Overshown ends up starting over any of the other linebackers on the team, it's jump up. Whoever ends up being the starting linebackers this year,
Yeah.
I think end up jumping up to a B, depending how they play.
Now, Adam, that expectations is only for rookies, okay?
Is that why you gave it to Agent Orange?
Agent Zero.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Agent
guess
Zero, Agent Orange.
Agent Orange is what they used in Vietnam
yeah,
Sorry, for whatever. I was thinking.
because of his orange
his
jersey.
orange jersey.
because he's from
Yeah. Texas.
Texas.
I went and saw a whole bunch of shit on that in Vietnam.
Yeah, it's crazy shit.
It was a wild.
I think me and you went to the same one,
yeah,
the
Not together.
American War Museum.
years apart, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, years
it was
apart.
wild.
Years apart.
Okay, here we go with cornerbacks. Last left.
Let's go, Boss Man Fat.
Okay.
Let's throw Boss Man Fat out there. He is a D for me. And I'm going to say trending up because if he doesn't trend up, he's just going to be cut. There's not going to be anywhere next year.
Sure.
And it might not even be that he is trending up, but he has to be trending up.
What was your expectations of him when he was a rookie?
A B. He was drafted as a second round pick to be the opposite of, he was supposed to battle with Anthony Brown to be opposite Trevon Diggs. You got to put this in a perspective. Trevon Diggs was drafted in the second round. Bossman Fat was drafted in the second round the year after him. Yeah. So your expectations, you expect to have the growing pains that Trevon Diggs had in year 1 and 2, but then by season 3, which is what we're coming into for Bossman Fat, is his kind of takes that leap and ends up becoming an A, B, or even possibly S player. He's at a D on the fringe of not even making the team in his third year.
Yeah.
Which is no bueno.
My concern with the trending up is that, do we think he is trending up?
No, and that you make a fair point. The trending up should be guys that are trending up. So he's got to be trending down then. He's got to be trending down if he's a possibility of being a cut candidate or cap cut.
Or can you not just stay as a D? I mean, as a D, you're kind of already a camp cut.
Because if he stays as a D, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's cut.
True. You don't have he's not staying. He'll be gone before they let him just fucking dwindle in D-Town.
Dwindle in D-Town. Hanging out in D-Town.
And it sucks because you want a guy to succeed, especially with a cool name like Bossman Fat, but
haven't seen it yet, though.
Have not
seen the Bossman Fat. So I think we go to the newest member.
What?
Oh, I was going to say you pick Ants.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I agree. I only disagree with your guys' expectations.
Pick the next guy. Or AJ's too
AJ
quick.
already has
I
it.
put Steph. I
called it, but you were so quick.
AJ has Stephon Diggs up there.
Lead out with it.
Gilmore, expectations for me on Gilmore is I would actually have him as an S.
Whoa. Okay. And give us why.
I would have him as an S, but I feel like with the trade and his age, he's more of an A with a trending up.
With the possibility with another good year, he could be in that S tier.
Yeah.
PFF does have him ahead of Trevon Diggs as the Cowboys' top corner, and PFF actually has both of our starting cornerbacks in the top 10, which is pretty sweet. I can't remember a time the Cowboys had that.
So then the contestant, do I contest myself to have him back as an S? Because
I
in the top 10, I think he's an S.
I think S is fair, and the reason is if he is top 6, he's cusping, which I think
he was 7. Or maybe it was 6. I can't remember.
I thought it was 6 and 8.
Diggs was
maybe
10?
it was 7 and 9. I don't know. But anyways, like 2 in the top 10. You ask 100 people, you might get. They might end up in the top 5. And I'm not like saying that there's a line in the sand, but for sure, if a player's top 5 at any position, they are an S tier in the NFL. So
Gilmore 6.
Oh, yes.
I think he's an S.
Good guess,
man.
AJ. Good guess.
He has to be an S.
And Diggs at 8.
I mean, they're both S's.
Diggs could be an S.
They're
Diggs
both
could
S.
possibly an S.
7.
7. I don't hate the S because, like you said, at cornerback, also at cornerback,
There's 2.
There's 2 of them. There's actually 3, including like the slot corner.
True.
There's
Yeah.
so many of them. So if you're top 6 in your positional group, I think he's defaulted. PFF has defaulted him to an S.
Okay, so chat, there's a lot of conversations going in the chat, and I don't want to throw the thing off,
Yeah,
but
go.
once we go through some of the
hear
stuff,
it.
there's a couple of people want to, now that they're kind of tuning in, they want to contest some of our ratings. But
We're close to kind of finishing.
Yeah, we'll do. Can we do the contesting after? We'll do a little. We'll do a chat. We'll do a chat contesting and let us fend for ourselves.
Yeah.
well, the EJ Savage is asking, is this expectations though, or what they're currently?
So expectations for rookies,
Just for rookie.
and then what they're currently at, and if they're trending up or trending down, it's like, okay, they had a really good season last year. We expect this is where they are now, but we expect that they're going to continue to improve on that. Or, they're here, but if they keep going, if they just keep this, then they're trending down. Like if they just keep what they did last year, they're trending down, or whatever. It's
Their last two seasons.
Yeah.
Jabril Cox in year 1, he was supposed to get out there, start playing. He got hurt. You can't really hold him against it.
No.
Last year, he couldn't even get on the field. Last year you had Damone Clark, who was coming off of almost
So just no matter
it's
how you
trending
spin
down.
it, it's a trending down.
His expectations
His stock is dropping.
should have went up, and they've been going consistently down.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and you can add your own flavor to what. Just here's the ultimate thing is just explain why they're in the position.
Right.
And C is your average NFL player.
Correct. Guy that's just run of your mill.
Good. He's a good football player.
He's like a 70 in Madden.
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I think if we look at Gilmore for the S ranking where he is, because we're still on him, right? We haven't put up the next person on the dock. I feel like we know where Diggs is going to go, but even if he was older, and EJ's bringing up that he's good, but he's not elite anymore, he possibly could be trending down. Possibly he could be you could have S trending down. However, move him to a different scheme. We put him to that simply chaotic Dan Quinn scheme.
Put him on the field with
Chaotic
Diggs.
simplicity.
Chaotic simplicity. Put him on the field with another S Club 7 member like S Club 7 member like Diggs.
Yeah.
You see how I did that there?
I see it.
And he can retain his eliteness. And in the defense, like you have a guy like Stephon Gilmore, regardless if he's just good or he was elite and he's just good now, change the team, change the environment.
Yeah.
Put him onto an elite defense, which is what we are.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see because last year teams kind of went away from throwing at Diggs because they knew they could just pick on Anthony Brown. And then once Anthony Brown was out, they knew they could just pick on whoever the hell we had out there playing corner.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see
Very interesting.
who do they decide? Do they try to go against Gilmore? Do they try to go against Diggs? It's going to who is our one and who is our two?
It would be It would be amazing to see Diggs have a high interception. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see him do as high interceptions.
No,
as
you're not going to see that. What did he have? 11?
11.
Even five, man. Like not so bland. I almost led the NFL with 5 last year. So even if
With
Diggs,
some dogs, dude.
has 5 or over, that's crazy. But they're gonna have to throw the football somewhere. And both these guys are. Even if Gilmore isn't what he was, that he still showed he was a very good player last year for the Colts, and he just got on a better defense.
Well, I want to ask this to chat, and then we can move on to get Diggs's rating in next year. But I want to ask Chet, what is Gilmore's game a speed-based game, or is it more position and just smart? Like, if he's getting older and losing a step here and there, is that going to affect his game more or less than the average cornerback as they get older? Like, is the way that he play based more on his his football intelligence and just his knowing where to be at the right time? And
It's tough to say. I think it's a little bit of everything.
Okay, so let's do Diggs.
I just want to see. EJ said in chat, I'm sorry, but if you have 3 S-tier defenders and multiple other A's, your defense should carry you to at least an NFC championship game. We didn't have this defense last year.
And we're expecting that.
I'm expecting an NFC championship game this year. If we don't make the NFC championship game this year, to me, it's a failed season.
100%.
So I agree, EJ. This team, I believe this defense and this team should make it to the NFC championship, barring any injuries.
Just think, Gilmore would have been Anthony Brown, who would have been a fucking B at best, trending down.
B at best, trending down.
Diggs may have not have been an A. Maybe we probably would have had him as an S.
Well, see, Diggs to me, I think he's for me still is an A trending up to an S.
Because he hasn't really put on an elite.
He's still really good, and he's good at getting interceptions, but I feel better with having Gilmore also there. But I think if teams have to pick who they're going to throw at, they're going to pick Diggs to throw at.
Well, I think, but you already set the line. Like he went from, and Steve Chili in the chat saying, the way that Diggs flipped the script from a ball hawk to a lockdown corner is elite. I mean, you look at him the one season, everyone rags on him for the amount of yards he gives up. And then last year, no one's throwing to his side. So, and then he's rated in the top 10 of cornerbacks. How can he not be an S? If we're going to give Gilmore an S, I think Diggs is an S.
Hey, I'm good with either or. I'm good with S. It's AJ's the final pick. I'm good with either. I just said I think he's an A trending up possibly.
Yeah.
With
7.
I like that, but I do think that the argument for him to be an S is just hard to argue against when you look at. So it's 32 times 2, which is 64, and he's what, 8?
Yeah, he was 8. He was 8, and he put up the numbers. He has the interceptions. They pretty much, like I said, they went away from him.
Yeah.
Teams just stopped throwing at him because they're like, well, we're just going to throw. Because they did test him at the start of the year. The only thing that I know he's not there to make tackles, but it drives me fucking bananas when the dude shies away, like in a playoff, when George Kittle's running down the middle of the field and all he has to do is lay a fucking body on the guy and he just decides not to. That kind of shit bugs me a little bit.
I mean, that comment allows me to
Say
A trending up. I still want him as an S though. My vote's for an S. Because
just think
we don't need him to tackle.
You did there.
There we did.
No, but
it did there.
But you're talking about. I mean, okay, so then you break it down. How many plays did he fuck up by not tackling?
That one super important one in 19-12 divisional
Micah
game.
Parsons isn't perfect, and we have him as an S.
Yeah, but he's not ever shying away from his position.
Right.
It'd be like the equivalent of it. Okay, so if you switch it, if a ball was thrown up in the air and Micah didn't try to intercept it, you're not paying him to intercept balls. But if there's an opportunity, you want him to fucking do it.
Yeah.
You're still a football player first. You're not just an interception machine.
My vote's S.
I think S is fine too. I honestly think S is fine. But with this rating that we're given, we're Super Bowl bound, baby.
Well, the only thing I say about it is either way, it's an S rank for the position. So I don't care.
EJ Savage says, I agree. If you have Gilmore as an S, you have got to put Diggs there too.
Dune.
Done deal.
Done.
I ain't gonna eat your lunch for that.
I ain't gonna eat your lunch. Not so bland.
Oh, sorry about that. Whammy.
Yeah, we got to do bland. And I think that's it, or is there one more after bland?
I mean, you could do Jordan Lewis, but that's probably, I don't know. I think Duron Not So Bland's probably
The last.
the last. What are you guys thinking?
Bland? I mean, you got to give the boy a B
With a trending up?
with a trending up. That's
as fair as it gets. He was
he
drafted.
finished way too strong.
He was drafted in the 5th round, right? So last year expected him to be a C. He ended up being a very serviceable player as a B. And now if he can even up what he did last year, he's moving on up to the A apartment. So Not So Bland, sitting there with B. Had 5 interceptions last year, but like AJ said, it kind of scares me. He finished so strong. He had 4 interceptions in the 4th quarter, which is insane, just icing games.
Oops.
Cooper Kupp and Leighton Vander Esch aligned wide over the tight.
You messed me up there, son.
What do you guys think about Bland?
I don't think he's that bland. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a trending up, no matter where he's rated. I don't think he is a concrete A, but I feel like if we're going to talk about someone trending up, he has the ability, I think, with this team to go from a B to possibly an S.
No.
Not next, but not by next year. I just think that as if he continues to go upwards with such a strong end, being on the right team.
S is just such a. It's got to be like 5% of the NFL is an S. Like it's hard to be an S player. Like an S player almost has to be. You're going to be a future Hall of Famer. Is how I take an S as. A is very good. Like A is the top of the top, and S is those guys. Like guys that I would think of as an S, AJ convinced me Josh Jacobs last season. Do I think Josh Jacobs is an S all the time? He still would have to show another good season. But for players in my mind that I'm thinking are S's, Aaron Donald is an S. Patrick Mahomes is an S. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is an S. Give me some more. Who are some more? Stephon Diggs is an S. Justin Jefferson is an S. Christian McCaffrey is an S. TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, S's, Micah S. But those
Henry might be an S trending down.
Right? So S is like, it's the top of the top of the top. As skill positions, it's like the first 2 rounds in fantasy football drafts type thing.
I think the best way to decide if a player is an S is like, would any other NFL team sign this player regardless of who they have on the team? And like, obviously they'd have to, let's put like Cap out of the question just in theory, but like would any other if Micah Parsons was on the market, every team
is going for him,
would want him on their team.
Well,
and they would replace whoever's on their team with him.
Deron Bland,
except for a handful of guys, maybe.
Deron Not So Bland having a good season last year and then becoming even an A is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But to become an S off of one seat, it's just
no. But it was his first year last year. he's behind two S's.
Yeah.
So depending on what happens to Gilmore, you could have him in the 2024 season being right beside Diggs, replacing Gilmore as an S.
But that's what I mean. You got to think of it as a guy. Do you think Deron Bland's going to make the Hall of Fame? That's how I consider, like, that'd be me saying Deron Bland had a good year. Maybe in 10 years, after he retires, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Whose numbers did we look at when we were comparing people to Micah that are Hall of Famers that maybe their first 2 seasons weren't great?
Probably just Sean Merriman. And he hasn't. There's an argument that he could probably still, but he won't be. Everyone else that we compared Micah to that had similar numbers and better starts
and
than
that's
him
what that was
are
one
all
of
going to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Von Miller, more than likely a Hall of Famer. TJ Watt, I think we looked at, has a very good chance. Nick Bosa, very good chance. DeMarcus Ware.
Micah outplayed TJ Watt in every single category.
And I think the only person that I would say didn't outplay Mike, or that outplayed Micah, who won't be in the Hall of Fame, was Sean Merriman. Ad was just asking because we were comparing. I'm just saying, when I think of an S player, Ad's talking about Deron Bland possibly being an S player. I'm thinking of it as me saying Deron Bland has a chance of being in the Hall of Fame, because an S player to me is a guy. Trevon Diggs, if he keeps going what he's doing, has a chance to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore is probably going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons has a very good chance, if he keeps going the way he's going, to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Then who did we have on offense? Zach Martin. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
EJ Savage is saying S gets thrown out too easily. We're talking about the hardest position in the league to play outside of QB. S tier cornerbacks don't grow on trees.
Yeah, but we broke down too, like, the only other argument then is Trevon Diggs goes to A,
Trending up.
Gilmore is 100% an S.
He was PFF ranked 6th out of 10. Out of 32, he was the 6th rank.
And what was Diggs?
8.
So then Diggs has to, then you're saying that Diggs, I feel like when you have Diggs rated at an 8, he has to also be an S. I think our
PFF.
I think our rating is perfect.
I think they're both S players, and we get it, they don't grow on trees, but they've put up the stats to be there.
I don't think I think he's talking about Bland.
Bland. For sure, definitely for.
Or
Bland.
he could be talking about the two there, but
Well, either way, we agree with the point, and we're just solidifying the argument there. Let me read out our player rank, our position tiers, and we might have one that rubs the wrong way.
Yeah, he was talking about Bland.
So, obviously, safety S. We have our three kings up there. 3As make an S. They're just that solid, and they just make the position great, exceptional. Then we have, what the fuck? Hang on a sec.
Are we able to get that screen up too?
We are. I'm just trying to find, where's our defense?
Defense.
Okay, sorry.
It's all on the same.
Yeah. I can't pull it up right now.
Okay.
Because anyways, CB, cornerbacks, A.
Which
So
I think that's fair. I think A is still fair.
A still fair, but it is kind of odd that we would have two S players.
I don't
with
think
an
we
A
were
rank.
looking at them being both being S players when we were doing that.
I know, but that's the interesting difference. We
Yeah.
haven't had one of those yet.
Well,
and this is maybe the first position where our individual player rankings doesn't necessarily match up with our position rankings.
But this is what we were talking about this is what we were arguing about cornerbacks being an A, and Anth started to say, if that person goes down, are you confident?
Why was I like that? I was just saying, I wasn't getting mad. I was just saying, if Stephon Gilmore, Trevon Diggs go down, who's replacing them?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's replacing them? You're not getting another S player.
Which is why they're an A.
You're getting boss man fat, or you're re-signing Anthony Brown.
yeah.
So that's
right.
that's exactly why I dropped that position to be in an S.
Fair,
From an
very
S.
fair. And then it was obviously defensive line with Micah is an S. And when we look, we got an A expectation from Ozzie Smith, an A from Coach Law, and then double O there as a B trending up if he keeps having that type of season that he does. So that,
And there's a bunch of other guys that are sitting right in the B area that can come in and on that position group to help the D line. If someone gets hurt, I feel better about a defensive end getting hurt and having someone being able to replace them than a cornerback.
Yeah. Yep. And then finally, linebackers were C.
which I think looks pretty fair.
Looks pretty fair, yeah,
we
because
rated.
the highest rating we got is Wolf Hunter at B, and then all of our other linebackers. And we're being pretty generous, I think, with giving Overshown a C expectation, but it makes sense.
Does make sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Bossman Fat sitting at a D might even be nice.
Yeah, you're right.
Bossman Fat sitting at a D might be a nice rating. He might be flirting on that E.
You could have him at an E with no trending, and that E just means that you're on your
almost
last
ticked out.
legs. He is on his last leg.
Because an F is basically your, like, I don't need, if there's a guy that's an F, there's someone else that is better to be out there for your starters.
Like Greg the Leg was easily an F that season.
Oh yeah.
And that's why
Definitely.
he didn't make the team next year.
Fucking Mar was an F in the Tampa game.
Maher was like, I feel like Maher was like an A that turned to a fucking F
Yeah.
within a couple games.
Well, here is so counting down, or just looking at, if we look at S rank and then keep moving downwards and just ticking off our starting players. So obviously Parsons starting, Gilmore starting, Diggs starting, and then our trio safeties, J-Ron, Hooker, and Dono Dub, Mazzy Smith, the rookie, and Coach Law, 00, Wolf Hunter, Not So Bland. Well, Not So Bland might not be a starter, quote unquote, right? But that's pretty strong.
Pretty strong. And I think everyone's expecting the defense to be strong. NFL analysts are starting to get a little bit of hype behind this defense. So I'm expecting the defense to be good. And like EJ said in the chat, with having these 3 S-ranked guys and then a bunch of guys that we have A's and B's, to me, this team I'm fully prepared for them to make a push for the NFC Championship game. And if they don't, I will be disappointed, because this is the best overall team. This is definitely the best overall team we've had since the B-Dub-Bs have been around.
Yes, since the absolutely. Yeah.
I would even say back to I'm going to say 2016, 24. I'm going to say 2014. This is the most hyped I've been going into a season.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but were you hyped? You were hyped going into 2014, or you were hyped when 2014 was happening?
No, I was hyped. I thought Romo and DeMarco Murray were going to absolutely rip show. You still had you had Sean Lee. You had so many good players. You had Ware. You had a bunch of guys that you felt like you could win the Cowboys could have won a Super Bowl in 2014.
2016, you were hyped as the season was going.
2016, I was hyped going in. We drafted Zeke. I was stoked. Then Romo got hurt. I was pissed because I was like, oh my God, he actually finally got their offensive line was amazing. I thought Super Bowl or bust. And then Dak obviously started off 9-0, and I just, again, the Cowboys could have won the Super Bowl in 2016. They had a good enough team.
The only questionable player on our team this year, do you think, is Dak and the running backs?
Running backs, Dak's not a question to me. Dak's a good enough quarterback with this team to win.
Yeah.
He's not a question to me. Dak Prescott's not a question mark. I don't think he's detrimental to hurting this team. Does he have to elevate his game? Of course, he has to elevate his game. If you want to win a Super Bowl, everybody has to. I'm not worried about him. I'm not one bit. The running backs, I'm not worried about Tony Pollard either, as long as he's healthy. Realistically, this team's set. This team's pretty good. So we just can't get injured.
Realistically, we
right? Just can't get injured.
We improved on the positions and the issues that we had last season.
Oh yes.
On defense, yes.
Not on offense.
They're I mean, the offense I'd say is just as good. I mean, Brandon Cooks. That makes us all feel
more
good.
Weapons.
Brandon
more
Cooks, Scooney. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, more weapons, but questionable defending in the second line of defending.
Yep.
Without Zeke.
Kicker's a question, EJ's saying.
Oh yeah, definitely kicker is a big question.
I know, and it's kind of wild, I guess, but I guess they'll be waiting until training camp.
It's one of those positions. It's one of those positions. The kicker's kicking no matter what, right?
Yeah.
You don't need him to get in there and gel with your team.
Yeah.
Right. You could sign him a day, but as long as he's been kicking, you could sign him a day before week 1, and he's still doing what he's going to do.
It's one of those positions that you don't need to come in and like.
And it's in a stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Still a question though. It's still a question mark.
It's still a big question. Do you think they'll re-sign somebody like Maher? Or is he gone?
I think they kind of went past. I think he's gone.
I don't want to bring back spoiled meat.
So is that it? We roll.
Expired.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
expired.
that's it. We did it. We ranked him. We will be back. So, did you say Thursday we got to be back?
we ranked him and banked him. I think
ranked him and
we're
banked
going to
him.
possibly do this Thursday.
Okay.
Our venue is changing our lease, and we have to go Thursday
We'll probably still do this Wednesday.
Okay, so we will
Okay.
be back this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. or no, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m.
There you go.
Eastern. We will be back.
Daddy!
And we don't know what we're going to be talking about. That's why you got to tune in. For the bandwagon boys, who one has his goddamn Father's Day, and he's still here slanging and banging with us too, and everyone else in chat. Hey, chat, thanks for coming by. We never give enough props to chat. Thanks for coming
Oh,
by.
love you, chat.
Love you, chat. And then, okay, for me, your host, Anthbest, I think we out.
Peace.
Peace out.
Woo.